Surf Club decided that they would have to have a women's help. They instituted, I suppose, about 10 or 12 girls who were good swimmers. The man that helped us a lot was Billy Kellum.
Looking back on the history of the old Manly Life Saving Club, which started in 1911, one of our proudest records would be the fact that out of 185 members, 185 had enlisted.
The 80 to 85% of our then membership volunteered to go and fight. And so it's important to have a look at that in relation to our culture and history as well. And because they went overseas to the various places where they were stationed and fought as lifesavers, and so they, it's interesting that they were able to impart life-saving skills in Europe where no one could swim, and also talk about their time in Manly. So it's documented the fact that that has happened over the years. They also form part of the armed services got a instructional group of lifesavers, of which some of our Manly members were part of in various touring when they were able to do so whilst they were on active service.
It was very moving. Ray Peterson had done a whole lot of research and given Robbie the information. So we went. I don't know what the war grave site was called, but we found. There was two, and we left the Manly caps on the graves. So it was quite moving. It's quite moving.
I remember their names. It was John Reynolds, who was passed away when he was 23 in May 2015. So that was just after the landing in Gallipoli, and he was an infantry man. And then the other person was George Hill. Their names are read out here every Anzac Day. George Hill was 31. He was a medic in the army. So we had a sky blue cap with the Australian flag on it, as it is when we go away to compete internationally. And also we had the Manly badge. So we sort of put the cap at the top of the grave, and then we put the medal, the Manly badge, just under the surface. And then we said a few words, didn't we? Bowed our heads. So it was very good to go, noting their ages 23, 31, which is pretty consistent with our members now, knowing that they've made that sacrifice. And I think it's probably a good thing to do, so we can not forget our members of our club who were lifesavers and went over there and didn't come back.
When I was going to Manly Primary School, I happened to win the swimming championship there, and that gave me honorary membership to the Manly Life Saving Club. My brother had joined Manly Life Saving Club with Bert Adams at the same time, and of course these were in the war years.
The barbed wire was still up from where they'd put all the barbed wire on the different beaches, and you had to go through corridors in the wire to get to the water to surf. Things like that you remember.
About 1943 I joined I was playing kids junior football in a team, and the Manly Lifesaving Club blokes were recruiting because they had no members left. All their members had gone to the war. And so they came to us and they said, if we provide you jumpers and socks, will you all join the surf club? Well, that wasn't too hard for me to do.
We had a shortage of members, and the only way we could do that, the deputy president was Dick Windshuttle, Sooty Windshuttle, and Sooty Windshuttle went round to all the GPS schools and the local schools and asked them to send down people so we had enough people to do the patrols, you know. So we used to put them through, those squads through.
And I was only sort of allowed to join it because this Laurie O'Toole was a hard, tough man, and surf clubs were pretty hard and tough in those days. And Dad said, well, if you step out alone, I know this bloke will straighten you out.
Because women weren't allowed in the surf club in those days. We were only allowed in the so-called kitchen. So, yes, it was very different, very different. But, you know, we went to all the surf carnivals. My husband was in the senior R&R, junior and senior R&R. He coached both. And so the interest stayed with us, you know. And he won quite a few premierships. And the other thing is they held dances here. And so, you know, we always came to the dances and had great jazz bands. A lot of the surf clubs had dances.
Late 50s, main source of funding started with the dance on a Friday night. We had a Friday night dance at the club, down in the ballroom.
You cannot believe the amount of people that used to get in there. They had to have all these exhaust things on the windows because the roof, which wasn't that high, used to just turn to water, and there'd be just constant water dripping off the ceiling onto the crowd. It was just jam-packed, jam-packed.
And Rolling Storm had his band, so I think we used to, I was on the committee then, I think we used to pay him about £80 for the Friday night dance. So we'd go from about 8 o'clock till about 12, much to the dismay of the people that lived across the road. We done down. We made quite a bit of money out of the dance. I think we used to raise about £250 every Friday night.
It was a real eye-opener, this place, and everyone used to be all trying to break in, not pay, I forget how much it was, about 50 cents or something to get into the thing. And we had to be on the club because they were all trying to climb up the wall and into the club for free. And we stand up there with a hose and as the head would pop up over the top, we hit them with the hose. And a lot of screaming and yelling and threats going after that time. Yeah, it was a funny time.
The sea doesn't win all the time. A good boat, a well-balanced crew, and a strong will keep the boat headed for the shore. A familiar, free excitement of a normal weekend on a typical Australian beach.